Hello, everyone. Good to have you on our webinar today. We will be spending about an hour discussing how we can transform our businesses through process automation. There has been an increasing need in this digital era for us, for organizations to become more digital and give our processes a new phase where decisions can be made by the machines, where human interventions are less, where productivity and efficiency is on the increase. So we'll be spending the next 1 hour discussing this. This is not a new topic. It's been on for a while, but we still see it relevant today in our businesses. Like I said before, especially in this era of digital transformation, businesses need to transform to gain competitive advantage. Okay, my name is Kenneth Ofomba and I will be your host for this webinar. I also have Uchenna Abara here with me to support and make sure we get the maximum value from this session. Okay, so we shall be discussing briefly about Signal Alliance today, and then what is business process automation? Why should businesses even transform? And then we analyze existing business processes. There are steps for any organization to analyze their existing business processes. We have 1 or 2 sample use cases. We'll go through them. We look at the inherent risks in our processes today. It's a moment of reflection in your organization to say what are the inherent risks in your processes as of today. We'll take a look at the business values of automation. And then finally, we'll take a look at next steps. What next steps should every organization be taking today with respect to business process automation? Okay, so let's start by telling us a brief about Signal Alliance. Signal Alliance is a diversified company with over 20 years experience, and we have strategic partnership with 7 major OEMs, where we maintain like good partnership, which most times are the highest level of partnership with OEMs, at least 3 of them. We deliver quality services, post-sales, pre-sales across our solution portfolios, and we leverage on our existing customers, referrals, and even to drive digital transformation in this era. For us, we are looking at 2018 being smart at transforming businesses. Our solution offerings are as follows, and I'll be brief about this. We have our platform and applications department who are in charge of digital workplace, analytics as a service, where we try to see how we can make decisions based on the volume of data we have in organizations today, predictive analysis, predictive analytics, and all of that. How can we predict the next move our customers are going to make? How can we position ourselves for our customers? How can we increase our revenue based on decisions we can make on the data we have? We have a department centered on developing applications, and we have business application unit. That is on with the platform applications. For security and managed services, we do all forms of security, and we also have managed services. Whether it's on-site, off-site support, we have a unit dedicated to this. And then we have our cloud advisory department or unit that handles advisory and pre-migration services, licensing advisory across OEMs, helping to drive product adoption and consumption. So we have our class advisory responsible for this. And then the last but not the least, we have infrastructure and service delivery. We're here, this department takes care of infrastructure advisory, infrastructure and application performance management, implementation and support, hardware and software, storage, networks, and the rest of them. So this is a brief overview of our solution offerings at Signal Alliance. And below you will see the OEMs or the companies we are in major partnership with. Okay, so let's get back into the business of the day. So we can see, take a look at, just take a moment and look at this picture. Yeah, so we can see some group of people carrying very heavy load. In fact, actually, there are 3 of them carrying this heavy load, but they are suffering themselves. They are pushing hard. But this is someone here offering to help. Take these wheels, and even one person can do this job. But you know what they say? We are too busy. No, thanks. We are too busy doing the same old thing. And this is the situation we see most organizations today. Some organizations have failed to take a moment to reflect on their processes, to see how they can optimize their processes, to see how they can make it better. And it will only take a moment to do that. And then you have all the time to enjoy, all the time to do better things that can improve the business. So this is a situation we see ourselves today, and this is a situation we want to come out from, and that is why we're having this webinar. And we are saying, take a moment, look at your processes. How can we get them to be better? How can we be more efficient? How can we be more productive? But before then, the question will be, what is even business process automation? As I said, this is not a new topic in the space. It's something that has been on for a while. But the business process automation is a means of automating your current business processes through the use of software and different application integrations. So there are different things we do, repetitive tasks, the things that we keep on doing them. There is no intelligence in doing those things, but we keep on doing them. Business or process automation takes these whole things using a software and different application integration and automate them. So meaning, instead of having your employees do menial and simple tasks, you just let the software take care of it. BP helps you do what matters. So what it means is that instead of you having to do the repetitive things, you will now be involved in strategic things. So IT department or the business units will be involved in doing strategic things instead of reacting to operational needs. Then we let the system, we let the computer, we let the programs sort out those mundane tasks. So as we will go, we will see the advantages that comes with it. But it's all about automating what you have. It's all about monitoring them. It's all about analyzing them. You automate, you monitor, you analyze. You let the machine do it, and you are just providing input, and you have time to do a whole lot strategic engagements. But now, when we talk about automation, automation has been in since 19th century, and we have different eras of automation. We have the moments in 19th century era one where machines take away dirty and dangerous industrial equipment, from looms to cutting gym and all that. So we see people, organizations in the manufacturing industry bringing in machines to take away those dirty and dangerous tasks for humans to do. And then in the 20th century, machines take away the dull automated interfaces from airline kiosks. So instead of people having to go attend to you each time, we had machines do all the door work. Okay, so you log in, you make your ticket reservations, you do all those kind of things that ordinarily a human being would have helped you do. That era has gone, and we are in the era where machines take away decisions. Machines make decisions. Okay, in this era, we've heard about robotic process automations. We've seen a lot of banks bringing in bots that can help you make decisions, that can answer you, and you ask questions, they respond to you, they make decisions as they are interacting with you. And that is that era where we get more intelligence from processes that has been automated. Whether it is the normal business process automation, or we are talking about robotic process automation, there is level of intelligence that we can gather today from automating our processes, and that is the era that we are in. But let's not forget about one of the major aims of this webinar, One of it is to transform businesses. So we are looking at how we can use process automation to transform businesses. Okay, and then the reason is, why should businesses transform? Businesses needs to transform because if you don't transform and make the necessary changes, the business risk going down. Much has been said about Uber in the taxi industry. So people who are in the taxi industry who refuse to innovate, who refuse to transform, they're going out of business today. And this is not what any organization can risk. We have a lot of disruptive technologies in place. So it becomes very apparent that businesses should transform. Businesses should become more competitive. Organizations are adapting to changes in their ecosystem by leveraging business technologies to create digitally enhanced, customer-centric business models. And we are going to look at transformation in these four pillars. First of all, today we need to create new customer experiences. Transformation is driving organizations to create new customer experiences. An example is what is being done with the bots that the banks are doing right today. We must have, we must create new customer experiences. It's very key because customers are expecting a whole lot more from us, and automating those processes can give them that customer experience they're looking for. Also very important is improving operational efficiencies. If an organization internally are operationally efficient, it will tell in even the way their customers get responses. It will tell in how efficient the customer is. So operational efficiencies are very key and one of the pillars of business transformation today. So it's very important we look at it because it's very important. Okay, so we now look at how transformation can help organizations generate new revenue streams. So we see some telecoms today who has gone out of their traditional telecom business, voice and data, to have a whole lot of value added services because they know they need to transform their business. The traditional revenue streams are no more adequate. So we need to see how can automation how can automation become handy to ensure that organizations can begin to generate new revenue streams, and that will lead to a business transformation. And today also we see rapidly responding, changing to conditions. We've said it. So the competitive landscape today for any industry, for any sector is changing, and people need to transform their businesses or they will lose all their hard work to competition. Okay, so and when we talk about business transformation, we are looking at around these three building blocks: people, processes, and technology. And today we're talking about processes in line with business transformation, and processes are at the center of business transformation. So the question we ask ourselves today is: are your processes at optimal level? Do you have the right structure and governance model to partner with your business? How are your processes? Take a look at your processes. Are they very complex? Do they lead to productivity? Your processes, does your process empower your employees today? Yes, you may have the technology. Yes, you may have people, but processes form a very important component in our business transformation conversations today. Okay, so hold on. So before we continue, I would like to ask a question, and I will need your response. So I'll give you a moment. I'll give you a moment to respond to this. So which of these applies to your organization today? Please select one. We have at least one business process automated, at least one. It could be 20, it could be 100, or we don't have any process automated today. Okay, we have 60% of everyone has voted, but we need everyone to vote. Let's give 5 seconds for people to vote or to express their opinion on where they are today with respect to process automation in the organizations. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay, thank you. And I also have another question. Okay, so what productivity and collaboration solution is in use in your organization today? Now, because we are not here to try to push solution to do, but we are trying to look at what people are using today and how they can optimize whatever platform they are using and leverage on that to automate their processes. So we would like you to make your select your opinion or what is happening in your business organization today. What platform do you have, or what are you using for your productivity and collaboration solution? So when we talk about productivity, we talk about what are you using for your emails, your collaboration, your communication, your interaction within your organization. What platform is it? So let's give us like 10 seconds to respond to this. So we would like everyone to give us their opinion. So I found out that not everyone has voted. So please, can you just go ahead and select which option is applicable to you? So it doesn't really matter if one of option 1 to 4 is not applicable to you, then you can put others. That's fine for us. Okay, so that's fine. We have some people who are yet to vote, but we need to move forward. Okay, so that's fair enough. But thank you for taking a moment to respond to our poll questions. But today, the question we should be asking ourselves are, what does your approval process look like? Yeah, it could be automated, but is it simple enough? Wouldn't you rather look at ways of optimizing your processes if they're automated already? If they are not automated, could it be that when you want to make an approval, we need to follow up on people? What happens when someone is on vacation and we need that person to get the approval done for us? If someone is outside the country or someone for any reason the person is not in the office, what happens when we need them to sign up on approvals? So take a moment and reflect on how approvals are done in your organizations today. Like I said earlier on, we are in a digital era. We will get to do things differently, or we risk getting out of business. So we have to look at how our our operations happening today? How are our processes going on? How complex are they? How simple are they? How are they motivating our employees? Do we have processes that makes it easier for people to work? That's a question we need to all answer and see if there are rooms for improvement. So we've seen situations where we have the swivel chair automation, where we have different systems and we have people at the center. People are doing manual works that machines could do. People are moving emails from emails to digital documents, legacy systems, ERP solutions, databases. This ought not to be so. One could say, yes, we have these systems. That's fine. We are using technology. Fantastic. It's good to use technology. But where is the place of processes in driving transformation in your organization if people are still at the center of all these technologies you must have bought? What we should be aspiring to is a situation where we have a system or a process that interacts with all these systems and gives us an output. And that is what we are talking about today in this digital revolution we are in right today. Get less people to be involved in doing manual work. Let the system do that. And most of the times, it's just a matter of ignorance. Most times, we don't even need to buy technology to help us automate these processes. Most of the times, we already have these technologies in place. So because from the pool we had, we see people already have technologies in place which can be leveraged to automate their processes. But we still see people sitting at the center of all these different technologies. And this is what we're trying to move away from. So, but let's look at existing processes. Should we analyze existing business processes today in our organizations? How should we go about it? So the CIO says, you know what, I'm ready. Let me take that moment and go through my business processes. Let me take that moment and review my business processes. What should that ideal process be like? First of all, we start by process defining and modeling. So we'll decide which processes are we going to define, are we going to automate? What are the processes like? We model them, we can come up with a flowchart diagram to see how the process should look like. So we do define the processes, we model them, and then we move on to using the system to automate such workflows. So sometimes these are things we can do ourselves, and sometimes you can't call a third party. You can't call Signalize to come and help you take a look at this. After the process defining and modeling, reviewing the business process, we automate it. We automate the workflow. But then after that, we do process management and analysis. So our processes are automated. We need to look at the outcome. We need to look at how they are doing. We need to analyze it. Most times, we may need to optimize our processes. So for people who have already automated some of their processes, it's high time we look at them. Are they running optimally? Are they efficient? Would there be need to optimize our existing processes? Or would there, even if it's not a fresh process, even if it's a fresh process, would there be need, of course there is need to make sure the processes we're building are optimized, because we find out that business requirements are changing every day. So that makes it very important for us to look at our processes and be able to make sure that they are optimized. So a process that worked very well 5 years ago, today may not be optimized, may not be the best. Yes, that process has been optimized, has been put in place, but we may look at making changes to it, optimizing it, and making sure it fits into the requirements of business for today. Of course, one of the things we do automation is for reporting. So when we have automated our processes, let's say a requisition process, we can be able to say who has requested for what. From the system, at any point in time, we can log into the system and say which requests were rejected, what reasons were they rejected, the ones that were approved, how much, what were the figures, how many total, if it's a requisition that has to do with money, how much money have we spent on this. And these things we can do with a simple click because the system has taken record of them and they're very easy to report. So this is a process to analyze existing processes, whether they are still manual or whether they are somehow automated. Okay, so if you have a question, you can actually raise your, there's a window or the chat button where you can type your question. I'll get to see them and then I'll be able to respond. But today we are talking about businesses. We're trying to have a business conversation around the need for us to take a look at our processes, optimize them, automate the ones that are not yet automated, and get our business to be transformed as a result of that. So yes, most people, we are very familiar with this, and we're trying to keep it simple. Let's use processes that we're very familiar with. So business A today can have a different vacation request process, different from what I have. And I tell you, you can have up to 1,000 different vacation request models that you can implement if you are automating your vacation request. So, but we're just taking this for an example to show what we're talking about in its simplest form, automating a leave request. Yeah, someone will say, yeah, this is old. But the truth of the matter is that even today, a lot of organizations go through the houses of printing leave forms, carrying leave forms from table to table, making approvals through table on paper, wasting resources, wasting management time. Is still relevant today. We've seen 1,001 organizations still in this situation today in our country. But let's take a look at how this process works. So there is a form. The user logs into that, goes to that form, goes to that portal, and goes to the form and fills all the details that are needed. Remember, no paper, just go to your system, fill the form. Once this form probably should have, most definitely will have validation checks, make sure everything is okay, so it's sent for approval. It could be to a team leader, it could be to a relief officer. You can attach documents like the handover notes and all that. But it gets to team leader. The team leader will decide to approve or not based on some parameters. So if you reject, by the way, that's the end of it. You get a notification that your leave was not approved through your email. However, if your team lead or your relief officer approves, fine, it's taken to HR for acknowledgement. It depends on the process. However, on the next step is where there are rooms for amendment. So you send your leave your leave request to your boss. Your boss feels, oh, you know what, these dates you've selected will not work out because we have this project. You know what, can you resume a week earlier or blah 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 blah. So it takes it back to you, notifies you that your leave has not been approved. You need to make some amendments. It communicates that to you, and you go ahead and do that. Once that is done, is approved, it sends to HR. HR also can go through that process of saying, okay, are there amendments? Are the dates correct or whatever reason? And pushes it to be acknowledged and informs the finance unit should they pay you for your leave allowance and all that. So then it gets approved and you get notified. So the beauty of this is that at any point in time, you are aware where your approval is. If it is at the table of your team leader or your relief officer, you know, because the system will tell you that your request is awaiting approval by your relief officer, by your team lead, by HR. So we know where if you want to follow up, you know what to do. And so there is no reason why I cannot be able to approve the leave of the people working with me. So even if I'm on the move, I receive these notifications on my smartphone. I'm able to make these approvals. So this is automation, business process automation is in place from, we're trying to take a look at leave process because we all at one point or the other within a year will have to go for leave, and we understand this whole process, how it's done manually and how it can be automated. But then we have another use case scenario around requisition. It could be vehicle requisition, it could be cash requisition, it could actually be anything that we need to automate. We do not want people to be printing forms, carrying paper around. These papers are missing. We don't know where they are. Business is losing time. It's expensive for the business, the management time, trying to get these things to be done. We can all automate them. And this is a simple process. So a requester sends a purchase requisition. It goes through validation. Are there things missing? Fine. If they are missing information, it's taken back to the person originating the request. Otherwise, if everything goes on fine, you can go to the purchasing agent who reviews and decides to continue or not, or say let's approve or not. Once it's approved, it goes to approve. The whole approval is done. The requester's manager gets to see what has been requested and is approved. I don't want to go into the details of each of these boxes, but this is a sample of a requisition process. But like I said, each organization will have to sit down and say, this is our process. And it is your process that gets automated at the end of the day. So it's all about coming in and analyzing your own process. You say, how many processes do we want to automate? How many processes do we can we review in the bid to transform our business, in the bid to improve operational efficiencies internally, which processes are very key for us, which will translate in the way we respond to our customers. Okay, so some of these processes might be also external. So we see people in the PFA industry, the patient industries, people coming to ask for claims, and you see this things needs to be automated to make sure our customers have good experience. It could be in the insurance company, people trying to make claims. They can originate these things from any web portal, from online, and once it's done, in seconds, these things get into the system and people are able to look at them, start processing them, and we give our customers that customer experience they have been yearning for. I tell you, those customers will not leave you. So it will help you grow your customer base. I don't know if any questions. If you have any questions, you can indicate. Hold on. Okay, so that's fine. So if you have any question, you can raise a question and we'll be glad to attend to it. Okay, so let's take a look at our environments today. Do you see any existing risk in your processes? Are there potential business risks that can keep the business? Manual paper processes that are prone to errors? What are the compliance risks your business faces today? We see some situations, some industries are highly regulated. So for those industries that are highly regulated, you cannot afford to leave your processes entirely in the hands of human beings. So we may just have to make sure that we automate those processes and make sure they are fully compliant. One way to improve processes is to take out the human element. And let us know that the higher the number of employees we have, the higher the inherent risk of errors in our organizations. So one perfect way to take care of this inherent risk of errors of compliance would be to automate such processes. Automation can save costs and position IT as a partner in the business. Instead of being very operational, IT can be seen as a strategic partner in driving business, because most of the tiny, repetitive, recurring processes has been automated, and risk of errors has been eliminated. Risk of failing compliance has been eliminated. Security risk has also been eliminated. Delays has been eliminated. Sometimes we need to make decisions that are very fast for the business. But if they are in the hands of people, excuses will come in. How they are not able to meet up, how they were held on traffic, and all that and all that. At the end of the day, the business suffers. These are inherent risks in our environments today, in our organizations today. And we need to find a way to analyze these processes, to automate them, and remove all these inherent risks that we all have if we fail to automate our processes. Okay, so when we talk about what is in there for us as an organization, why should we automate our businesses, our processes? Yeah, we're looking around. Yes, businesses, when we automate our business, our processes, it helps us achieve a level of automation, so a level of transformation rather. But let us know that it reduces involvement in clerical work. The level of time spent in doing clerical work, this has been programmed into the system to do them. It gives us fast and accurate storage. Fast, these processes are done in split seconds, and before you know it, we have outcomes. So the time it will take us to be storing heaps of paper, heaps of folders, files of approvals that we have. This is our system, and we don't need to worry about those papers. We don't need to worry about the risk of people coming across those papers or all those approvals. It also helps to improve communication within enterprises. So by the time I make a requisition, or I make a request, the moment the next person is receiving them, the person necessarily does not have to be in the same office with me. So automating our businesses today, our processes today, will improve communication. Let's work for large volume of data. And of course, one of the things we do automation is it gives us insights into our processes. It gives us data that we can work with. So it gives us that information to say, this is the total number of figures that has been approved for this. This is the number of rejected requests, and this is the reasons where they were rejected. Is this something we need to amend? Is that okay? Why A, B, C? And we have a lot of insights and intelligence we can get when our processes are automated, as against when we're doing manual processes and we're not taking our time to see how we can be more efficient. Put in another form, what are still the business values that we get from automation? We'll talk about economic values, saving costs from the paper, the amount of money saved on paper, the amount of money saved for the business because the business has become more efficient, the productivity it brings into the system. That is something we should not overlook. And then when we talk about workforce advantage, people are happy to work where we have a streamlined and standardized processes. So we create happy users, and IT workforce who are engaged in doing manual processes before will now be engaged in more strategic activities. So you have a better workforce who are happy and willing to give you their best because things are streamlined and standardized. We'll now talk about quality and control improvements. We hinted on this when we talk about compliance. When your processes are automated, you can have that quality control. Once you build the processes, you go through that quality control. It's more difficult to enforce the same level of quality control if you are running on manual processes. It's very, very difficult because with human intervention, there will always be errors. There will always be things that go out of place. There will always be excuses. Why don't you automate that process today and see that process help transform your business the way even customers, outsiders perceive you? In the level of efficiency you bring in, it will double and you get more businesses. Automation also gives us that flexibility, highly flexible. We can make decisions the way we want. Okay, so in all sense, we really need to avoid analysis paralysis. We've got to keep it simple. That's a quote by Albert Einstein. So we do not want a situation where, because we want to analyze our processes, or for any organization, we enter into a loop of analysis that becomes meaningless at the end of the day. We've got to make it simple. We've got to transform our businesses using automation. We've got to make sure our employees are happy. We've got to make sure that we eliminate errors. We've got to make sure that customers are happy. They have better customer experience. So let us not forget to keep it simple. And then, so what should be the next steps? We will suggest and recommend that you start with the low-hanging fruits. Those simple processes, the leaf process automation, is something you might say, okay, you know what? In trying to drive adoption, let's automate our leaf process. And it is something that it will be easier to drive the change. Let's look at requisition automations. It could be performance management automation. It could be document policies automation, document approval, document approval. It could be HR onboarding. There are a lot of low-hanging fruits today we can adopt, or we can decide to look at, and adoption and change management becomes very easy. So you can contact Signal Lines today for your process assessment. You can contact myself or Serial, or you can still visit our website www.signallines.com to get more insights. But before we move ahead, we still have another poll question. Okay. Okay, so would you like Signal Lines to conduct a free business process automation audit for your firm? As we said, it starts from assessing your processes, documenting them, and moving forward. Is it something you would like Signal Lines to come and help you do a free process assessment, irrespective of the platform you are using? Let's get your feedback. We're waiting for your responses. Let's get to know if it's something you would like us to conduct a free business process assessment of your organization. Okay, so we'll just have like less than 10 seconds to move on. So if you want to vote, please, can you go ahead and vote, or let us know your opinion concerning the question we've asked. Okay, so we will move forward. Thank you for taking out your time to respond to us. Okay, so Okay, so we are free and willing to entertain questions from you. So you can type your question. So we're waiting for you to type your question. So go to okay, we have a question here from Kingsley Ozomba. Okay, so Kingsley is asking, what technology do we use for our automation? So you can recall we asked people who wants us to do an assessment. So for us, it's not about what technology is being used, it's about the business value that we get from automation. So there are different technologies out there that you can use to automate your processes. And we also made mention of trying to optimize your existing investments. So you could have a platform, that already is sufficient for us to automate your processes. So if you do an assessment, we will be in position to advise you to say, okay, the tool or the technology you've already purchased can help us do that, or then we can recommend a different technology. But we are open to use different technologies, but depending on investment that has been made. Kingsley, I hope I have answered your question, right? So it's not about which particular technology. Okay, thank you. Hello. Okay, Peter. So I have a question from Peter. Okay, and yes. Okay, so do we have solution? Peter is asking if we have solution for document management system. Yes, Peter. Of course, we have a solution. We have solutions for document management system. And remember, when we were discussing about process automation, we made mention of document approval, the processes, the approval level of for your documents. How, if you have a document you want to upload, want to put your document management system, what's the approval process like in uploading and all that. So we have a document management systems in place that we can use to help you achieve document management and record management. Okay, even getting to digitize your existing legacy documents and all that, bringing OCR, optical character recognition, into it. But if it's something we may need to take up with you, then we can have that engagement around your requirements, business requirements around document management system, and be able to attend to you. Okay, can you do a free POC? Yeah, why not? We can do a free POC for you. Yeah, Peter. Yes, we can do a free POC for you, and yeah, we can do a free POC, a proof of concept. So we can do that for you, and we will get in touch with you and see how we can help you achieve the level of automation and document management system you want to achieve as an organization. Yeah, feel free to ask any question. We're here to attend any question or any concern, any part of the presentation that you you don't understand very well. So we are here to help you. Oh, sorry, I think there's a question I've not attended to. Hold on. Oh, okay. So please, if you have any question, we're still here. We can take any question. For those that want us, if you want us to come and do that free assessment for you, You can also tell us. You can, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a question. It could be a comment or a request. So we can take it up from here. So if you have any comment you need to make, we'll be glad to hear you out. Whatever comment, whatever statement, whatever question you need to ask, we can actually attend to you, and we're waiting for your questions. So thank you, Peter. Thank you, Kingsley, for your questions. Okay, so we really appreciate your time today, making our time to join us in this webinar. We are looking forward to having business relationships and conversations with everyone who has made our time to join us in this webinar. And we really appreciate your time with us, and we say a big thank you. Thank you, and best regards.